Let's get things done. So first and foremost, let's do /table inline, and then we can call it the main database. So the properties that we're going to want to have here, I believe, are as follows. So you want to have a date. I think a do@date. date. So the main date is for the purposes of having when you're going to accomplish a task done. Then we can go into something like task groups with a select property. So for me, I've always been someone who likes work, side hustle, housekeeping. That should be good for me. And then if we go into the next part, it'll be things like tags. So for example, it'll be a multi-select, and then we make tags, okay, cleaning, and we can color code it so it's the same as the task group. Do YouTube video recording, and then make that guy the same color as side hustle, which I'm gonna make red, and then work orange. Then we can make TPS reports be orange for work. And those are examples of some tags. Now, another important one I want to put in here is the priority. So for GTD, it's important to have a priority system in place. And for me, I like doing this setup. It's priority 1, number 1. Put this guy in red. Priority number 2. Put this guy in orange. And then future. Put this guy in maybe something like gray, which is a little less, you don't have to care about this guy as much. Then the last property I like to have in there is a checkbox. Just be like, hey, is it done? Checking this guy off or not. All right, so this is the main GTD database. I believe what would be nice is if this guy for GTD would actually be the capture inbox where everything is located. So I'm going to try to add some space above this guy. So this view we can set up as a table would be the capture inbox view, which I think would be the best one to have. Now this default one can be like the all tasks. And then you can sort this guy by date, because eventually you're probably going to have a bunch of different dates of when things are done. So I think it's important to have that set up in place, and then you'll see what I'm about to go through in a second regarding the capture inbox. So for the capture inbox, we're going to have here is a setup that makes a lot of sense to those who have used GTD before, but may not make some to those who have not used GTD before. So the capture inbox is essentially the place where anything gets put in. The second you have a task that you want to create, so clean the floors, you essentially put everything in here. I'm going to do record YouTube video. And say it's due tomorrow. This is due today. And then TPS reports are due Thursday. So then we have priorities that we can put in place for these. So this is the setup that we got going on. The capture inbox is essentially going to be filtered to have date is empty because it's not been assigned to a date yet, so we don't have a time and an actionable place to do said thing. And, or I guess, in this circumstance, priority is empty. So we want to set it up so where it's like, okay, these are showing if the date or the priority are empty. because in either circumstance, you can't really make an actionable, like, okay, when is this thing going to get done? Where it's not completed regarding the first steps of GTD to organize it to then get the task done. So then we're going to need to have a place for a few other things. There's something that's called like the future priority. So I want to actually put this database here. It's like going to be a linked database. So we're going to copy this link, paste it. And this one is going to be the future/maybe section. So we're going to filter this to where priority is future and date is not empty. So the second that this guy gets a date, it's going to be put here and it's going to have an actual spot to get done. So actually, if we put this above, we can make a nice little header here. So, future, divide it, or put a divider there. And then we're going to have the same setup going forward to where the capture inbox is the bottom of everything, and then everything going up as it goes higher becomes the next level of priority. So if it's at the top, it's the most important, then it goes priority 2, 3, 4. Then moving forward with this, what we're going to do is we can make a setup called H2 action items. Now you could set it up to where there's a priority 1 and a priority 2 linked database. But to me, I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to duplicate this guy, move it up, make some spacing here, get this guy at the top. Forgot to add a cover page. Make it whatever you want. Then change the filter here. Or wait, actually, we got to do it like this. Sorry, there's a specific setup we got to do. So you got to go add filters where date is not empty. Add a filter group and and priority is 1 or priority is 2. So in this circumstance, none of this is going to populate until I give these guys a date, because it requires it to have the date not being empty and priority is either 1 or 2. So in this circumstance, I'm going to make it so that since this is due today, I'm going to place it today. I'm going to place this to be done tomorrow because of the due date. And then in this circumstance, we also should probably filter these guys so that and status is not checked. So this like checkbox is not checked. And then we can do the same thing for this. And in this circumstance, when we check it off, it'll disappear from the list. So that is the basic setup regarding GTD in this. So we have things in the capture inbox. Then we organize them into these different action item sections. And if we do the final piece de resistance to where it's sorted by whichever one you want, you can sort it by priority or the date. I think if you're doing the planning, you can obviously sort it by the date. And then you can add a secondary sort, which would be priority and ascending. So if we, for example, move this guy to the same date, you would see if it was before, the priority 2 would be first. But since it's on the same day and the priority levels are like that, it's going to sort it based on the priority. So if we go to something like here, make example, task, make it a second priority, it'll go below with the other second priority. And I think if you want to add an extra layer to it, you can sort it as well after that by due at date. So in that circumstance, since this, for example, if I made this due before TPS reports, then it would show beforehand. So this is like the layering you can do. This future/maybe section will probably not have a due at date. So in the last thing I'm going to do here, I think I should probably hide this due at date because it's not relevant now. It matters on the kind of person you want to be. I just wanted to point that out to you. You can also do the sorting in a similar format to where the sorting is by date, due at date, and that kind of gives you some options regarding that setup as well. So in order to make this an organized situation, twice a week, I would recommend you have a planning session. So you can make a nice little checklist or template for yourself. So you can do /template button, just call it planning. If you want, you can actually make a template button, call it planning session, then go through your week saying move items from capture or clarify. We can just do the 5-step process, right? So we can go obviously capture any new ideas, new tasks, clarify tasks, organize, and review. You can do something like that. You can also just make it more simple, capture new tasks, clarify tasks. Instead of that, you can put assign priority or assign due dates, assign priority. You could also then assign task dates. So like when you're going to actually take the action item and do it. And then you can also probably put this guy at the start, add relevant documents and info, add subtasks. And it's whatever you want to do, right? If this is the setup, you can just press this real quick and then you can go through it, check off whatever boxes in a row, and then at the end of the session, just delete it. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.